Ignoramus.
It's actually Ignoramus videos, period.
So we're on our way back from Florida, and I didn't want to miss a show, so we're streaming from the road. So let me know in the chat if you can hear us okay, and I guess we're just gonna do it.
Yeah.
So
we're talking crime, right?
We're talking crime.
We're doing crime. I was hoping to get pulled over during this stream.
Well, we're streaming.
Yeah, because who would ever do that?
I don't know. Who would get pulled over while they're streaming?
Number 2 in the building. What's up?
Hello, number 2. Welcome. Welcome to the road. We just crossed the Georgia border.
Did we?
We did. And so that means we're in Loudoun County. Do you know what Loudoun County is famous for?
No.
Pulling people over who have out-of-state plates. And do you know what you have on this car?
A lot of drugs.
Out-of-state plates.
Out-of-state plates, yeah.
Yeah, so
no, we have no drugs, actually.
I wish we had some.
Yeah, because that would make our interactions at least tolerable.
So we went to Vero Beach this weekend for an event that you got hired to play at, and it was a good time.
It was a great time.
But when we were in Vero Beach, everywhere I go, I want to think of what happened there, what history's there, what kind of crime happened in Vero Beach. So I looked up famous crimes in Vero Beach because that's how I knew. And it turns out there's a serial killer from Vero Beach named David Allen Gore.
Why do they always have 3 names?
They don't until they become serial killers.
Yeah,
they do the
I
whole thing,
understand.
just in case there's some other Allen Gore, or like it narrows it down more, I think, for newspapers and court documents and stuff like that.
Because like a lot of the big serial killers, or yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it narrows it down.
Yeah, because if you have a very common name like yours, like what if there's a serial killer with your name? Or another journalist.
What if there's another journalist in the Raleigh-Durham area that was also in the United States Capitol that also is a musician?
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to have the same initials
as
that
guy.
With the
same middle initial as well.
Yeah.
Very odd. So David Allen Gore actually confessed to murdering 6 women. But he only got convicted of 2, which I don't understand how you can confess to murdering 6 women.
But people confess to stuff all the time that they didn't even do.
Well, he showed them where the bodies were. So.
Well, then that narrows it down. Yeah.
So we didn't actually go to the beach, but
we didn't.
This was his hunting ground, was the beach.
Yeah.
And he worked with his cousin.
What part of Vero Beach did you kill those women? The pod by the beach.
By the beach.
By the beach, man.
Yeah. So he was active between 1981 and 1983, and his first victims were Haising Ling and Yingling.
Oh, hello, Mr. David Allen Gore. You are a very nice man.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He stalked the daughter. The daughter was 17 years old at the time, from the school bus. And he was a police officer. He was a volunteer sheriff for the Indian County Sheriffs, which is that courthouse that I posted a picture of yesterday.
Oh, okay. I was wondering.
We're across the street.
Yeah.
So he was a volunteer. Well, I didn't know you could be a volunteer cop, by the way.
Yeah.
He was a volunteer cop. So we had the uniform in the car and everything. And he basically told her, hey, you're in trouble. You need to come with me. And of course, she's 17, so she does. And he said, we need to go talk to you. We need to go to your house. And takes her to her house. Then kidnaps her mother as well. And ends up killing them both, sexually assaulting the daughter.
How did he kill them?
Strangulation and beating. Beat them. Basically beat them to death. Yeah. So that was in February of 1981. And he called his cousin,
1980. Right?
1980.
Yeah.
His cousin actually was going to pay him to kidnap women and bring them to the cousin. The cousin's name was Fred Waterfield. And so David, because he had 2 jobs. He was the volunteer sheriff's deputy, and then he also worked in an orange grove, which is a great place to hide bodies. So he's got the perfect setup to be a serial killer, but the cousin really wanted to be a serial killer. When he kidnapped Haising Ling and Yingling, the cousin ended up not paying him because they were not the correct type of women.
Oh, even worse than being a murderer or racist.
He was a racist, yes.
Even worse.
It was worse than 9/11.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he didn't pay him. So then in July the same year, 1981, he goes to Vero Beach and he disables this girl's car. Judy Daly was her name. And so he's at the beach. He, like, I don't know, switches a wire around or whatever. I don't know what cars need, like coolant or something. Takes the coolant out of the car.
That's a low blow. Katie's choosing violence against my car right now. That's not cool, man.
Yeah, we just got done hanging out on the side of the road a little bit because somebody's car didn't have coolant in it.
Yo, it's not my fault. It's the bleepity bleeps, your words, that didn't top off my coolant.
Yeah, it's their fault.
It is.
So he goes to Vero Beach. He disables this girl's car, and when she goes to start her car, it doesn't start, obviously. And he just happens to be in the area.
Oh. He's like, help you out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He did exactly that.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I'll drive you to a phone because this is 1981. You know,
Yeah.
phones are not. And kidnaps her, gives her the cousin. He ends up getting paid $200 for this one. And they do the same thing to her.
So what does the cousin do with them?
What do you mean? The cousin is doing like the raping and the beating.
So
I mean, they're both doing it.
okay. So the cousin didn't pay. What I'm thinking about is like, okay, it sounds like I'm setting up a joke here, but I'm not. It's like, okay, so he kidnapped these two Asian women.
Yeah.
He raped and beat them to death.
Yes.
And then his cousin paid, and his cousin
refused to pay him.
But then he raped and beat them, or he raped and beat them?
They still raped and beat the Asian.
No. I'm asking about order of events.
Okay.
Like his cousin tries to buy women.
Yes.
This guy kidnaps women.
Yeah.
Then he calls his cousin and says, "Are these suitable?" Then he rapes and beats them, or he rapes them and beats them, then gives them to his cousin.
No, he ties them up and holds them. So
Okay.
And the cousin lives in Orlando, and we just did that drive. You know how far it is between
Yeah.
Orlando and Vero Beach. So he calls the cousin in Orlando.
Not far, yeah.
It's like an hour.
Yeah.
So he's holding them for however long. They're probably scared out of their minds, you know.
Okay. Cousin's like, oh
so
no,
the
these are
cousin
this is tainted egg roller.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's
I bet it was the exact words, for sure. All right, so Judy Daly disabled the car and says, hey, ma'am, would you like me to drive you to a phone?
help you out.
Yeah, so he drives her to the orange grove, ties her to an orange tree, calls the cousin, and they do the same thing to Judy Daly. And a lot of these, you'll see it's pairs. They're kidnapping two women at a time, so they each have...
He goes, orange, you're glad I'm an auto mechanic? Who's there? Orange. Orange, you. Orange, you're glad I got a spare screwdriver for that one, ma'am? Okay. All right.
You can't even look at me. I can't. I'm so glad I took notes. Okay, so this next one is hitchhiking.
Okay.
Let me know in the chat if any of you have ever hitchhiked before, because it seems very scary. I keep coming across many cases where people end up getting murdered because they were hitchhiking. I assume it's less dangerous for a guy to hitchhike.
Yeah.
Right.
For sure.
But so many. Why is it? If you're you obviously know you're a woman.
Well, also,
why would you hitchhike?
the reason. Okay, it's less dangerous for a guy to hitchhike, but it's easier for a woman to hitchhike because of sympathy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like let's say that there's no killers out there. Like you're literally just trying to get. You assume everyone is trustworthy.
Yeah.
It's easier to hitchhike if you're a woman. More likely to help out a random woman.
It's less likely for the woman to be, like, there could be dudes hitchhiking. If a woman stops and picks them up, the hitchhiker ends up being the killer.
Yeah.
It's less likely for the woman
Don't pick up random dudes.
No.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Erica, for complimenting my speech. I appreciate that. Someone was watching.
I was not.
Yeah.
I didn't pay attention to it at all. All right, so Barbara Ann Byer and Angela LaVale in 1983. Okay, there's a little bit of a gap here. So the first two were in 1981. Let me tell you about the gap. This is just for my brain, so bear with me. This dude goes to the courthouse, the one we were across the street from. And, sorry. Totally lost my train of thought. So he goes to the courthouse and he sees a girl get out of her car and go in to do whatever she's doing. And I don't even know if she was going to the courthouse because you saw that neighborhood around there.
Yeah.
There's like other stuff to do. So he goes and hides in the back seat of her car, waiting for her to get back in the car. So he's going to kidnap this other girl. And she notices him coming back from the car, notices movement in her back seat, and just bypasses her car and goes, he's in the back seat with a police scanner, rope, a knife, like all of this kidnapping stuff, and a police scanner. But she doesn't call the police. She goes into the courthouse and gets the police, like finds an officer in the courthouse and says, hey, there's a dude in the back seat of my car. Please come out here with me. And he does. The cop does go out there with her. He gets arrested. So he's in jail from 1981 to 1983. So that's why there's a gap in victims.
So I have a question. What is the definition? I'm not doing a gotcha thing. I'm like, what makes someone a serial killer? Three or more victims
in separate
separate events,
like
right?
if you go to spree killing or
yeah,
something,
that's
it's
not a serial killer, but it's like different deeds, and not random's the wrong word, but just like, and there's a pattern to it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be though.
But yeah, serial kills they kills more than three.
More than three in three separate events.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So now we're at, another thing that happened in between there is he did end up kidnapping a woman, the same thing at the beach, disabling the car thing, and he took her out to the middle of nowhere, and it turns out there was other kids like hanging out in the middle of nowhere, wherever this middle of nowhere was, so she jumped out of the car and got away. So that happened too. And he goes to jail for 2.5 years. Now we're in 1983, where Barbara Ann Byer and Angela LaVey were hitchhiking to the beach. What did I tell you guys about hitchhiking? Let's not hitchhike. And he does the same thing where he calls the cousin, he ties them up in the orange grove, he calls the cousin comes out, they end up, raping, beating, all of those things. He's not caught yet. This next one, also in 1983, but July of 1983, this is how this MFer gets nabbed. So he picks up another two hitchhikers. Lynn Elliott and Reagan Martin are hitchhiking. They were hitchhiking to downtown Vero Beach, which I didn't realize there was a downtown Vero. Was that
we were in downtown Vero Beach.
That was it?
Yeah.
That was the thing?
That was the downtown, yeah.
All right. They were trying to get there.
Okay.
And he picks them up, takes them back to his house. Not even his house, his parents' house, but his parents weren't there. Picks them up, takes them to his house, ties them up, calls the cousin. He's in the process of waiting for the cousin. And he's assaulting, let me remember which one. Okay, so he's assaulting Reagan. And Lynn escapes. Lynn is...
John Hinckley?
Yes.
Assaulting Reagan, I don't know.
Yes, absolutely that. He beats them both up as he's kidnapping them, ties them up. And Lynn escapes, runs out into the driveway. As he's assaulting Reagan, Lynn escapes, and there's a kid driving by on his bicycle and sees him run after her, grab her, and she, like, this is like out of a horror film where she's bound and bloody and naked running down the street. And a kid sees it and goes home and tells his parents, and the parents of this kid call the police, and they go to his house because they were keeping an eye on this guy because of his other crimes. They're like, well, if he's hiding in there was two things that he did in that wreck.
Was at his house?
No.
That's where he worked.
He worked in the Orange Grove. That's where he's hiding the bodies, is the Orange Grove. But after the hiding in the back of the car and the kidnapping the one that got away, the cops were like really paying attention to this guy, so they knew right where to go. And they go to his house and they find him in like the crawl space above, like the attic crawl space, with the other girl, with Reagan, still tied up and alive. Unfortunately, he did end up killing Lynn and putting her in the trunk of the car. But he did end up getting convicted in 1984, and he was executed in April of 2012. So he's off this planet, which is good news. So what do you think?
He got executed.
Yeah.
How did he? What method? Chair.
I assume it was in Florida, so I assume it was the electric chair.
Okay. I don't know all the different.
Does anybody know what method of execution Florida had in 2012? Let me know in the chat.
Stoning by orange. I just, I don't know. Like, I'm a convicted criminal, but I'm still very like innocent. Like I don't like hurting people. Like but it's just crazy that people like that are like out. Like why? Did you ever see Richard Pryor's stand up about him filming in jail?
Yes.
Where he's like why? He's like interviewing. He's doing a bit about interviewing the mass murders in this penitentiary, and he's like, why did you kill the entire family with the wife and kids? And that criminal's like, they was home. It's like, I just don't. It's just disgusting. How many years after he was nabbed did he ever give some sort of like testimony or?
Yeah, he confessed to 6.
But like,
of them.
did they ask about like, why he did it?
The whole thing with the cousin paying him.
It was just but
Yeah.
some of them he didn't get paid for.
No, yeah, some of them.
So every one of these, except for the Asian ladies,
Yeah.
he delivered to the cousin.
He delivered to the
What happened to the cousin?
The cousin also went to prison, but he was not there and didn't talk and didn't confess. So I don't know off the top of my head, and I didn't make a note on it.
Wow.
So, Sharon in the chat lets us know that Frank said it was lethal injection in 2012.
Nice.
Hi, Sharon and Frank. We just had lunch with Sharon and Frank.
Hello.
And I miss you already. By the way, the car is running.
Yeah.
We're so back.
We're so freaking back,
We're
dude.
so freaking back.
Yeah, I mean, what? It's like, what? Why did it take so long to kill the guy? I was like, I'm like an artist, and I like think in systems.
Yeah, it's like appeals and appeals.
I know,
and
man. That's
appeals.
just so insane to me, man. Yeah, it's sick. I don't know. It's
And I think this is one of the ones where he was like, "Oh, just put me to death. I don't want to live." And then he changed his mind. And he was like, "No, I do want my appeal." So then it got drawn out even longer.
Yeah. When was the most recent serial killer? Wasn't there one in the last like 4 or 5 years?
There was one recently
in like
but I can't-
Seattle, or I feel like it was in the Pacific Northwest.
I know that they just caught the Golden State Killer not too long ago.
But he didn't kill
No.
for a while. That was like early 2000s.
Yeah, but they just recently caught him.
Yeah.
When was the last serial killer?
I don't know.
You would think I would know something like that. I bet that there's 2 big cases going on right now, and I bet one of those guys, once we really start digging into it, and I'm talking about Brian Koberger, the Idaho
Oh,
guy,
yeah.
and then the Delphi guy, Richard Allen.
Oh.
The way those crimes were done, if they're guilty, they are innocent right now until proven guilty, by the way.
Lol. Yeah, it says you.
If guilty, I wouldn't be surprised if whoever committed those crimes in the style that they were committed aren't actually also serial killers.
If the criminal streams it to his Instagram and brags about it and is quoted as saying, "Shit, I just shot them white girls," I think he's guilty until proven innocent.
That happens more than you understand.
I run a news show. I always show it, so I think it's neither more nor less than I understand.
You understand the perfect amount of understanding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean that's just sick. I don't know. I don't like that.
I think there's definitely evil in the world, and I think it just manifests itself in humans sometimes. And it's interesting to me that it's mostly it manifests itself like evil like this in men, not all the time. There are women serial killers, obviously, but more often than not, it's a dude.
Yeah.
What do you think that has to do with testosterone?
No, I don't know. I mean, I think there's like chemical elements, but it's like all men are physically powerful. They're not all physically more powerful than other people. Then they're not all the same strength, but men are supposed to be powerful, and they are powerful. And well, I mean, okay, just to go back for a second, I mean, of course, evil exists in the world. Evil exists in every single one of us.
Yeah.
And so does sin. Like, I think it's like sin when left unchecked.
Yeah.
And then it's like you embrace your heart's desires and your impulses over years and years and decades, and it's probably got a chemical elements. It's definitely got like an upbringing element to it. And I think
to interrupt you, but that sign just said there was a crash 104 miles ahead. Why are they telling us about it?
Dude, it was like a big crash.
Oh, was it?
No.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you maybe saw something. I'm not checking the map.
It was like it was what it was. It was a 100-mile crash.
Don't you think in like an hour and a half, 2 hours from now, it might be cleared up? Why are they telling us about it now?
Yeah, I mean, also I think that that like men in general are like more drawn to power.
Yeah.
And like dominating things.
Yeah. I think also possibly a lot of times they're weak in their regular life, so they want to feel that power somewhere.
Yeah. That's real.
In their day-to-day life, they have no power.
Yeah. I don't know really why. I just know that it is, and they're also like, I think more women. I don't mean more women than men, but a higher quantity of women would be serial killers if they could pull it off.
Possibly.
If they were physically able to do it.
Yeah.
But like, you need to have, not to get like super grim, or like you have to be like physically powerful to be able to like tie someone up, and much of the time men
I don't know about that. Here's why. Some serial killers don't actually overpower, like they trick people.
I'm just talking about this one. I mean,
but I'm saying, like, women have the ability to trick people, to lead people along, and guns do exist.
Yeah.
So if women did want to be, like, a woman could get a dude to follow her out into the middle of the forest.
Yeah.
Like, Aileen Wuornos did that. Like, she was a woman serial killer, and she would get dudes to follow her out to these secluded areas with hopes of getting, what women can offer, and she would just shoot them.
Yeah.
And it was a power thing with her.
Yeah.
It was the exact same thing we were talking about with the men, is that she needed to feel that power.
Yeah. Well, the reason that women don't do it as much is because they can't decide who to kill.
Probably.
they're indecisive.
They can't decide.
He smiled at me yesterday, so maybe he gets a break today.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, you want to hear another story?
Sure.
All right. So are you aware of the movie or the novel by John Grisham called A Time to Kill? Do you want me to give you a recap?
Now, if I was really being a jerk, I would say, yes, Katie, you asked me that before we got on air, but I realized that you're just doing that to be a good entertainer.
Why would you do that right now?
Because there's levels of because live streamers have layers. It's like an onion. Recap it. Loaded wrench. I'm driving.
I can't drive. I'm a woman. What are you talking about?
Last time Katie drove, she wrecked my car.
I did not wreck your car. Your piece of crap car broke down. I didn't do anything to it, first of all. It just stopped going.
Ignoramus videos is driving.
Yeah, it just stopped working is what happened. I was pressing the gas. The car said, no, we don't listen to women. We only listen to men.
That's right. It's got a governor in there, yeah.
Had to take over.
It's right.
All right, so A Time to Kill. Have you guys in the chat seen the movie or read the novel by John Grisham called A Time to Kill? I think it was his very first novel, actually. And
really?
I think so.
I don't think that's true. I do have a license, but... Oh, yeah, traveling. I'm not driving. Right. I'm traveling. I'm operating my private property.
It's a boat.
From point A
it's
to
a vessel, right?
No, it's no, you're embodying your living vessel.
Okay.
You are the living vessel.
So this is not the
traveling, not driving phase. Anyway, recap the movie.
So, hold on one second. I have no mute button. I don't think when I'm mobile streaming, do I?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't need you now. I'm done coughing.
Oh, I'm just showing you for next time.
Okay, thank you.
Click the dots.
Click the dots.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah,
okay.
That's like with what's his name? John Cusack, and they get the two juries, and they like leverage the jury?
No,
Okay.
that's Runaway Jury.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right.
Also a good movie.
Good movie.
Yeah.
Is it the one
And
where like Tom Cruise is in it and he works for the law firm? And
no, that's Pelican Brief. I think.
That's The Firm.
The Firm.
Is it the one where like the kid witnesses the?
I hate you right now.
Just like describe every single John Grisham movie.
It's the one where it's very racially like a racially what's the word I'm looking for? Charged. It's a racially charged movie, and it came out in 1995. I think the book was written maybe 3 years before that. But a little girl is walking home from the grocery store. Like, the mom gives her a list to walk down to the grocery store, and this is happening in Mississippi, just south of Memphis, Tennessee. And she goes to the grocery store, and these two racist rednecks, and we know they're racist because in their car they have the infamous Confederate flag. So they're obviously racist.
So like really cool guys.
Exactly.
This is where they like kill, like rape and murder her, right? I have seen that. That is a jacked up story.
So it's a little black girl. She's walking down the road, like an old country road, goes to the store.
Then Julia Roberts comes out and she's dating her teacher. And then in the opening scene of the movie, he like gets in his car and okay, sorry.
Do you people see what I've been dealing with for the last it's been 2 days, 3 days? 3 days. Since Thursday. I've been dealing with this 24/7. Yeah, so the little girl gets sexually assaulted, beaten within an inch of her life, hangs her from the tree, but the rope breaks, and then they throw her down in a ditch and throw like full beer cans at her, and they think she's gonna die. Like, she is beaten so badly that she almost dies. This says it's based on a true story. Right, so the racist white guys, black girl. Do you want to hear the true story that John Grisham based this on? Okay. The true story is actually a guy named Willie James Harris is the rapist. Do you remember that picture that I showed you about an hour ago? And I said, look at this guy. Look at this criminal.
Gosh, so it just was a black dude.
And you want to guess the race of it was actually two little girls.
You switched the races?
Yes.
Oh, that's so ass.
I know. So in real life, the dude's name was Willie James Harris. This happened in 1984. It was a real case that happened just outside of Memphis in Mississippi. And this Willie James Harris was in jail for, this is good, stealing a bike. It's in the court papers. I'm not even making that up. And he robbed an 80-year-old woman. He got 6 years in prison. They let him out in 2.5. And what he does immediately after that is he goes to rob a house. So he finds a house that's off the beaten path down a gravel road. There's no cars in the driveway, so he breaks into this house. But there was 2 people home. A 16-year-old girl and a 12-year-old girl, her sister. The 16-year-old, it was just getting out of the shower, so she was in a state of undress, and the 12-year-old was reading a book just in her room, playing, whatever 12-year-olds do in their room. And they hear somebody break in, and he takes the 12-year-old, ties her up, puts her in the closet. The 12-year-old hears her sister getting assaulted, beaten, pistol whipped, stabbed, left for dead. Then he starts assaulting the 12-year-old. Same thing. The same thing's happening to the 12-year-old. And the 12-year-old, or the 16-year-old doesn't die, is alive. So Willie stops paying attention to the 12-year-old and goes back to the 16-year-old. And the 12-year-old wakes up, comes out of it, realizes the dude's not there, he's in the other room with the sister, and runs to the neighbor's house. Knocks on the door, because he had cut the phone line, and knocks on the door. The neighbor doesn't even answer the door at first, because the neighbor doesn't recognize her. That's how badly this 12-year-old little girl was beaten. And they both survive, but they were both left for dead. Like, just like in the movie, that little girl walking home from the grocery store was left for dead. Both of these girls were left for, like, he thought that they were not going to be able to testify, but they did testify.
How do you did John Grisham say that he based it on the story?
Yes.
Like, what?
Yeah.
Dang. When does like Tom Hanks come and like look at the Mona Lisa and try to find clues? You know, where he's in the.
That's later on in the movie.
Okay, all right, gotcha. Where does he get involved in like the Illuminati?
That's
not even John Grisham. Oh my god, I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb. I just totally like thought that John Grisham wrote the Da Vinci Code, yo. That was just dumb. Yeah, okay.
So basically, John Grisham at this time was a lawyer. He had just graduated law school and was in the courtroom for this testimony of this 12-year-old. This is John Grisham's story. Like, this is what he said in an interview many years ago. He was in the courtroom. He wasn't on the case, but a friend of his that he graduated law school with was the attorney for this case. Like, and he was thinking, man, I would hate to be called as the defense attorney for this case because I wouldn't want to defend this guy. By the way, this guy had a partner as well, but he was a 17-year-old. I don't know what his name is, but he left before the raping and beating happened. He just like stole some stuff and was out.
Oh, wow.
And he was 17. He got 3 years, and he didn't witness any of the stuff that happened about the closet, the whole pistol whipping, the stabbing, none of that. But he did get 3 years for the. Although with the way they were doing things there, he's probably out in 6 months. Who knows? I don't know, because he was 17, so there's not. I tried to find the court records for it. I couldn't find it.
You said this is in the 80s?
This was 1984.
84.
Yeah. So John Grisham says that he went to go support his friend who graduated law school. This is the first case he got assigned after law school. And when the 12-year-old was going to testify, the judge knew what was coming, so he cleared the courtroom, and the only people that could stay were lawyers or media. And this was before anybody could just be media like you and I. Like, you actually had to be, like, work for a newspaper or something, right? Yeah. You couldn't just buy a press pass online. I mean, who would you know?
You couldn't just, like, declare yourself a journalist?
Yeah, you couldn't just declare, like, I'm an actual journalist.
I am.
I know, I am too. So he's in the courtroom, and he hears this 12-year-old girl go on this roller coaster describing what happened to her that day, and he starts thinking on his drive home, what would I do if that was my daughter? And that's where he came up with the idea of the movie, book, novel. It was a novel.
Is
first.
John Grisham black?
No, he's not.
Sure, it's like, in an interview,
is he liberal? Yes.
He was quoted as saying, I know that none of the details are the same, and it just happens to fit the modern liberal narrative, but the lies speak to a larger truth.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Is he a lipshit?
I don't know if he was when he wrote this, but he is now for sure. Yeah. He started thinking, what would I do if I heard this story coming from my daughter's mouth? And he said, I would kill the person. I don't care what the court was going to do. And that's the movie. Most of the movie is the trial of the father who kills the rapists.
That's right. Okay, I've definitely seen this movie.
Samuel L. Jackson. The father. Yeah, it's a good movie. You should go back and watch it. So that's that story.
Yeah, I saw it a while ago.
Did any of you guys in the chat know that story? I'm not even paying attention to my chat right now. Sorry, guys. I'm hanging in real life. So. Oh, Pulp Fiction. That's the movie we're talking about. Anywho, I got a couple more stories, but we can just chat for a couple minutes if you want. So how's your day going?
It's fine.
Yeah, how's your car doing?
It's fine.
I don't believe you.
I swear, I was just going really fast a minute ago.
Yeah. Whoever's texting me, I'm streaming right now, so can't look at that. I use my phone to stream when I'm out on the field.
That's why you need the second phone.
I don't need a second phone. Although I think I can get one on my plan for like $10 a month. Maybe I should get a second phone. It's
really nice to have.
Yeah. Yeah, then I'd have to be carrying around two phones.
Yeah, I mean,
That's kind of.
I just have it when I'm streaming. When I plan to stream, I got my live tweet phone, and then I got my.
So you don't carry two phones around all the time?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't even
Don't
know.
look at me like that.
I don't even know my other number.
Oh.
It's just I just use it for streaming.
Okay. So what do you guys think of the IRL streaming? You like it? Should we do this more often? Yeah.
It's not
I think so.
number 2 texting. You know.
No, I know who it is. I just don't want to call them out.
Caller, you're on the air.
Caller, you're on the air.
Yeah, my day's going good. We had those car problems. We had a nice little lunch.
Yeah.
With Senor Frank.
And Sharon.
Yes. I still feel weird about like I try to not use first names, but she's like, you know.
She uses.
I know. But even when someone.
All 4 of us use her.
I know.
Names
Like it's just yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah. Like I try to I'm more likely to call Sharon uniquely us than Sharon, because I'm trying to be really careful. It's literally the only thing I'm careful about online. I try to I usually wouldn't even say Frank. I would say let's be Frank, and I would say Katie Zed rather than Katie, or I would say like life to the max.
Unless you're on stage and she's performing. I was on the phone the other day with Might Be Wrong, and I called him Might Be Wrong. Or I think Dave asked who's on the phone, and I said Might Be Wrong instead of his name. So I do the same thing. So basically what I'm saying.
You gotta say Sharon like Ozzy does. Is that too loud?
Sharon.
John.
Could you see me moving the mic away from
you like
Could you really loud?
Bristled at my voice. I'm like, dude.
That speaker yesterday with the loud voice.
Joe.
I think I burst some ears.
Yeah, a couple of the ladies were plugging their ears. Was I too loud?
No, you were fine.
You know why?
Because you've done this before.
Because I have a good mic technique.
Yeah, that guy was eating the microphone.
I know what to do.
Yeah, exactly. So the places we've driven through on this trip, every time we drive through a place where I've heard of a story,
I think she's texting you about what we're talking about.
That's fine. There's a chat for that. I can't look at text right now. I'm streaming. Every time I am going somewhere, I think of the stories that I know just off the top of my head, and one of them is where we are right now, which is Valdosta, Georgia, or coming up on Valdosta, Georgia. I don't know if I haven't been paying attention if we've passed or not, but it's right around here in South Georgia, and a guy named Kendrick Johnson.
Wait, that was our BS time?
Oh, you want more?
I don't know. That was the preamble. I don't know. My whole life is BSing.
Well, there was like a lull, so I figured I'd just go into
That was like a seamless transition. Now on to this other story.
Okay.
It was just like, okay.
Isn't it supposed to be seamless?
No, just your thing.
I keep doing well, and then you keep like...
Yeah, I'm disruptive. Yeah, that's part of my comedic style, yeah.
So Kendrick Johnson...
sounds like a white guy.
I forgot what year and I didn't write it down. All I did was write down his name.
Narrator, so he was not in fact white.
All notes are done. The rest of this is off the dome.
Right, nice.
I think it was in 2015 or 2016. He goes missing, and he's a high school kid. He goes to Valdosta High School, and they end up finding him upside down, inside of a rolled up gym mat. Have you heard this story?
No.
Okay.
But it sounds like a normal wrestling practice to me.
Yeah. Turns out they do a big investigation and all that, and his family is convinced there's some sort of foul play. Somebody killed him, put him in the gym mat, right?
Yeah, because I spend my evenings just snoozing. It's like a vampire that didn't have a coffin. He's like, how they like lay back.
Yeah.
I'm seeing. Yeah, there's probably foul play here.
Yeah. Well, this is one of those that Matt Crump is involved in, and we need to get justice and all that.
Wait, this guy's black?
Yeah.
Dang. Named like Kendrick Johnson, I could have gone either way.
You never know. But what they think happened is at this school you had to pay like a locker fee to get a locker.
Yeah.
I don't know how much the locker fee was, or if it was like a daily rental or whatever. But anyway, there was some sort of fee to use the lockers in the gym at this school. So what people would do, where the mats were stored off to the side, they'd stash their
Dead bodies. Oh, sorry.
their shoes for gym
Victims.
class, like their running shoes or
In there,
their shorts.
Yeah, so they didn't have to buy a locker.
Yeah. And inside the gym mat, there was one of the shoes had fallen down in there. So they think
Like the wardrobe from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. It's like, this is what you're describing. It's like you open it up and there's a city in there.
Yeah,
You know, like, yeah, like they sell the wardrobe, you go in there and there's a little, like Aslan. It's like a new world. You open the door to the gym mat and there's like a guy cooking in there. There's
exactly. Like rainbows and unicorns.
So they think that, or?
Well, here's what happens when you die of asphyxiation.
You've died of asphyxiation before?
Yes. Yeah, I die all the time.
Yeah.
Just like you.
Yeah.
I almost die all the time. No, but if you're upside down for too long, you die of asphyxiation because your
Right, the
lungs
fluid, yeah.
cannot get
they-
good breath.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of embarrassing to be stuck upside down. So by the time you know, like you think, oh, I can get out of this myself.
Yeah.
I don't want to be embarrassed by getting stuck upside down in a gym mat. Or there's another story.
By the time
you know,
you just, it's too
can't-
late,
You
yeah.
can't get a deep enough breath to yell for help.
Wow.
Is what happens. There's another story that I heard recently where it was like a hoarder's house and the woman was found upside down like behind a dresser, and what happened is her lamp had come unplugged and she went to reach down in there to plug in the lamp or replug in the lamp,
Yeah.
like it jostled loose and she got stuck back there.
No
But because it was
way.
like a hoarder house, they didn't see her for weeks until it started smelling in there.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's bad.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
But there's a whole thing because the family's now suing the county for like millions of dollars, and Crump is involved, and you know every time he gets involved. with
How
something.
recent was this?
It was, I want to say 2016. Can somebody tell me when the Kendrick Johnson thing, the initial case happened? There's been investigations for years about this case. They did several investigations. They did the regular autopsy that they normally would do, and then the family hired a separate autopsy, and I guess look where we are. You guys can see we're in the middle of nowhere down here, and the coroner had
A lot of jobs over there.
in that field over there. Yeah. The coroner had taken out the internal organs because like during the autopsy they like weigh them and they take notes or do all that stuff. Instead of putting the internal organs back, they threw them out and then stuffed his body with newspapers.
What?
Yeah. Which is, it's not normal to stuff the cavity with newspapers, but it is a normal practice. I mean, I guess it used to be, but it's not now. They don't do that anymore, but this coroner is apparently from 1923. I'm not sure. But it is normal to stuff the cavity when you take the organs out,
Really?
but with sawdust or something else, like for the show, like for the funeral or
The
whatever.
show.
The showing, the showing, like the viewing.
Yeah. I know what you're saying. I know.
Although you never know. Remember that one funeral that was at like a club where they propped the body up?
And there was a shooting there.
It could have been a show. I'm not sure.
We've saw a couple crazy ones over the years. Like there was one where he was like chilling, watching a Lakers game or something like that, or like playing video games. I didn't know that until like a year ago.
I didn't either until it was on your show.
Crazy.
I've never seen a funeral.
I thought it
like
was
that.
a joke. I was like, what are you talking about? Like he's at a club. There's a shooting. You gotta cover that one.
Yeah.
Where there's the shooting at the club where the guy's dead body was on display.
Yes. Insane. Anyway, so they get the family gets the body to do their own autopsy, and like they're saying that like it's because there was evidence or whatever, and you can see pictures of his dead body online, and there's bruising in his face, and they're like, oh, he was beat up.
Bruising on his face.
But
that's how black people look.
No. But like other discoloration, not like that.
So you do.
Like I've looked at the pictures.
You do concede that it's like this. There's something inherently off of it.
There was definitely something off about the way his face looked. But
Inherent, genetically.
there's an explanation for it because when you're upside down,
God's curse on Sorry.
When you're upside down, your eyes get bloodshot. Like all of the fluids are rushing to his head. So there's bruising. There's the eyes are bloodshot. Right. It looks like he got beat up. I looked at the pictures. Like I said, don't look at the pictures if you have a weak stomach. But they're out there. If you're into that sort of thing, not into it. That sounds bad. Not. But you know what I'm saying. I wanted to see the evidence for myself. And it does look like he got beat up. But when you look at the explanations for it, it makes perfect sense, is all I'm saying. And they recently, like within the last 2 weeks, they filed another lawsuit suing the county for like, I don't know, millions of dollars. I don't know the exact amount. But as far as I can tell, it was an accident. So I'm not sure what's what. There's also...
so you think it was just an accident?
Oh, yeah, totally.
I mean, I'm telling you, whenever these race pimps get involved, I just... They don't have a good... Do they have a good track? Like, not a good, but have they ever been right about one?
I think the only one... What is the one in... It was in the Northeast somewhere where the guy was actually running away. What's that guy's name? Do you remember? I'm sure you've seen the video. The video is taken like from over a fence, and the cop shoots the guy and then plants a gun on him.
No, I've never seen that one.
You have, I guarantee. You've shown it on your show.
You've seen me see it?
Yeah, I've seen you see it.
Yeah.
So I know you've seen it. And if you see it again, you'll be like, oh yeah, I remember that one. But I think that's the only one that I can think of. And I can't remember the dude's name off the top of my head.
But they got involved in that one.
Yeah, and also the cops were arrested and are incarcerated. So, yeah. It seems like the system works most of the time. Not always, but most of the time. More often than not, I would say.
Yeah.
Well, and if you look at the jogger case, those guys were found guilty twice. So, I don't know how you feel about that case.
I don't really, I don't know. I don't think our system's good. So, I don't, most of the time people are, talking about the legality of something.
Yeah.
Not I know for sure Ahmaud Arbery was not just jogging.
Yeah.
And I tend to not think that there should be, I tend to not think that there should, I'm not saying there should be no such thing as citizen's arrest, but, I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
I would file that under my shit happens drawer, man.
Yeah.
I don't think those guys should be going away for the rest of their lives.
Not for the rest of their lives, I don't think. But I think that they shouldn't have done that. Personally.
They shouldn't have done which part of it?
They shouldn't have shot him. They should have killed him.
Should they have gone after him?
Yeah.
Should they have had a gun?
Yes.
Okay. But didn't he try to kind of...
He didn't have the same force. Here's where if he had a gun and was shooting at them, then yes, absolutely. No doubt in my mind. But he didn't.
I don't remember what the video looked like.
He was punching at them.
Yeah.
And they killed him. Maybe he had a baseball bat.
But they didn't execute him though. It was in the struggle a little bit.
This was years ago.
It wasn't they just point and shot. It was a struggle.
No, it was a struggle going back and forth. But there was 3 of them, and there was one of him, and they had guns.
There was 2 of them.
Well, there was 2 of them, and there was one of him, and they had guns, and he didn't.
Yeah, I remember him kind of grabbing for the gun, right?
I don't remember.
I gotta watch that video again because we did it frame by frame. That was in the days of my show, and there was a couple. We did the Rittenhouse, we did the Arbery, we did a couple of them frame by frame.
I think that's the first time I was on your show was Rittenhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Rittenhouse trial.
Yeah, that's what Loda just said. I don't know. I don't remember that one, but I don't know. This is why I'm pro segregation. All jokes aside, it's and also, if I would be more sympathetic, because what I do more than anything is analyze the media and what people say about stuff. And if they were to just to say that he wasn't jogging, I would listen to their story a little bit more.
But they push it.
Yeah, they call him that, and he was in like Timberlands and jean shorts, you know.
Yeah, jorts. They're jorts now.
Yeah, I remember him grabbing it. It wasn't like a firing squad where like they stood from a distance and just executed him.
No, it was definitely in a struggle.
Yeah.
What is your favorite beer, by the way?
Why do you ask me that?
The Jogger.
Oh, it's not my favorite beer. Actually,
I was totally setting you up for the joke and you just missed it.
I did.
That's all right.
If a citizen points a gun at me, I'm trying to get it away from him now.
Yeah, true. I don't know, I was torn on that case at the time, and I'm still.
I'm not into citizens arrest, man. I think sometimes it is appropriate to detain a person, like when they're on like the idea of going after the guy. It's weird to me.
I think this is why I was torn at the time. At the time that this happened, citizens arrests were legal in Georgia, and since then they've changed the law, so they're illegal. Citizens arrests are no longer legal in Georgia. So,
but I just don't care about that part of it because I'm not talking about what's legal. I'm talking about what's right. And there's something about citizens arrests that's weird.
Yeah. Here, you want to crack this beer?
The police told them to detain the robbers in the neighborhood.
Okay.
Because they'd happen a lot. Yeah.
I think also the issue with this case, I trust Horatius, what he's saying, but it was happening at the exact same time as Rittenhouse, so I didn't pay attention to the trial as much as I would have. If they would have just scheduled it differently, if they could have had one and then the other, but I was too busy watching the Rittenhouse trial to watch I was watching like the recaps of the trial, you know, at the end of the day, instead of watching the whole thing, like I usually do.
They're in jail forever, right?
They are. Oh, so like I was saying, the laws changed where, like, at the time, it was legal for citizens to do citizens arrests. So, and that's what they were trying to do. They're not only in jail forever, but they went back and charged them again federally because apparently the state charges were not. Which, how do you feel about that? About committing a crime in a state where the state has jurisdiction, you have a verdict from the state, you get a punishment from the state, and the federal government could just come back and charge you for the same crime.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm so I'm so cynical about the system. I mean, of course they shouldn't be able to do that. I mean, it should be just one charge. I mean, one charge per crime, and that's it.
Yeah, they did that to Derek Chauvin. They charged him federally as well because they didn't like the outcome of the amount of years he got or something like that. They wanted to put him away forever.
Yeah, they shouldn't be allowed to do that, but what's going to stop them? You know?
Nothing.
Because
they have the power.
Yeah, so that's where the lens I see stuff through is even if I don't think something is right or whatever, they're going to do it until we get power.
Exactly. Our whole saying it's double jeopardy. It is, but they're doing it all the time now. I had never heard of them doing that I can remember up until they did that to Derek Chauvin, and I thought the same thing. And now I'm looking into all these newer cases that have been happening in the last 15 years, and they're doing it all the time.
Speaking of murders, I have been noticing autocorrect murdering Horatius's points the last couple weeks. There's been a couple ones the last couple weeks. I'm like, huh? Yeah, and autocorrect be cray.
Autocorrect's been killing my Twitter feed, by the way. Autocorrect is a terrorist. Horatius's
well thought out points were just jogging, Your Honor.
Oh,
yeah, I agree with my what might be wrong is saying there's no federal laws at all. I agree with that. The federal government should just be basically defense.
Yeah.
Guns.
Then you don't have to pay federal taxes.
But also we need, yo, might be wrong, man. Who's that guy's name again? He told me his name like 5 times when I met him. That guy was a straight up huckster, dude.
He hugged me. He touched me. I don't like being touched by strangers.
That guy was the biggest used car huckster I've ever seen in my life, dude.
Yeah.
I'll tell the full story on Tuesday of this guy trying to get me to try to like he tried to like sweet talking me into stop and just not playing music anymore. And I didn't know what he was doing until about halfway
Like,
through.
not stopping your career, but in the middle of a set.
Yeah, he tried to
He
like
was, like, in the
sweet
middle of
talk me into
performing.
like people don't want to hear the loud music, man. Turn it down. And this was halfway through. I was like, bro, I'm about to keep playing music right now. And he's like asking me questions about myself, and I was like, wait, I don't think he cares about what I'm about.
No.
This guy was he was just straight up huckster, man.
Yeah.
Did he try to sell you his bone broth?
No.
Does he have that?
I don't know. He did not. But I did get a coffee mug from some lady.
Yeah, last night this lady was like, dude, so last night this lady at the Stu Peters event, she comes up to me and we're having a totally normal conversation. All right, so she's just like, hey, you're here from Stu Peters? I'm like, yeah, I'm speaking though, I'm playing music. We're talking normal stuff. She's like, I'm a prophetess. She's like, I talk to God and he tells me who to talk to. And she's like, then I collect them for God. I was like, okay. I was like, check please. It took a turn. It took a turn so fast. She's like, I'm a prophetess. She's like, I read people. God tells me who to talk to, and I collect them for him. I was like, okay.
Collect them.
Yeah, it was weird.
Like
I don't know. I was
souls?
done.
I gotta throw that coffee mug out. That's just weird. She said that she felt drawn to me, and that
you should throw that
I
cup
needed
out.
a gift, or God told her that I needed a gift, and she gave me a coffee mug.
So it might be wrong. Coach this guy's son, and he was insufferable. I thought he was completely insufferable, but
yeah,
he's not going anywhere, if you know what I mean. I'm not going to talk too much about.
Thank you.
About
I appreciate that.
What do you mean? I'm not talking about TOS. I just don't want to do inside baseball with their organization.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but he's not going anywhere. He's gonna be around for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, and we're done. Exactly. Yeah, it was really weird. I was like, okay. Yeah, what the?
There were some interesting people there last night. It was a much different crowd than I had anticipated.
Yeah, there were some good people. It was a big crowd. There was a lot of people there.
I just counting how many seats were at each table and how many tables, I figure about 150 to 200.
I thought that,
there was people standing
150
too.
sounds about right.
Yeah.
I collect them. And that one lady was cool. I didn't talk to her, but that Courtney lady that
I talked to her.
wanted to be on the show.
Pink dress?
Yeah, she emailed me. She didn't be able to. I'm gonna probably be speaking at their event next year.
Oh, awesome.
I mean, I haven't met her yet, but I'm gonna be like, come on my show. I'm also interested in speaking, and I mean, I looked down the list, and there's a lot of clowns.
I think her and then the grandfather of that kid are too good.
Yeah, Diego,
yeah. I'm not good with names.
Really?
Which is why I had to take notes on the names of the people I just talked about for the last hour.
Yeah.
I guess one more story.
I mean, I will say I'm good with names, but I'm not good with names of like random people that were wrapped up in a wrestling mat. I just like don't care. It's really weird how like people get defensive over not calling someone by their name.
Yeah.
Do you agree with? No, I'm not saying the person themselves. Like the other day, I'll make up a name because I don't want to use his real name. Some people might know what I'm talking. Let's make up a name, Timmy. Okay. This person is like talking about she's doing a photo shoot for this family, and because the kid has not had pictures taken yet.
Okay.
And I'm like, yeah, that kid really seems photogenic. And she's like, you mean Timmy? And I'm like, it's like being like that guy or that, I'm like, why do we?
So they were were offended that you said the kid?
Yeah, rather than using the person's name. This happens a lot. That's just one example. Like, people are like, you mean...
People find a reason to be offended these days.
Or if I were to say, your husband to you,
Yeah.
I mean, that's a little different because I know you guys so well.
Yeah.
But like, if I had only heard your husband's name like twice,
Yeah.
and I was like, bring your husband.
Yeah.
I would probably do that even if, like, if I don't have a relationship with the person, I'm more likely to be like that guy or your husband or that kid. But it's not a diss.
No, it's not.
They take it as a diss.
Yeah.
No, I meant that kid. When someone reads your chat and doesn't say your name. Okay, yeah, some guy said that and I've now disregarded it, so.
Oh, they're talking about the gas price. Apparently was on a sign or something. I do like here in South Georgia how there's so many Jesus billboards. People shelling out money for the Lord. I like it.
Yeah. Shilling for Jesus. People are okay. This is an interesting point. Might be wrong. He says, we had some folks in our church who were that way because their kids were all named after people in their family who they're honoring. Yeah, that is weird. Especially the fact that I don't know that, and you know I don't know that. Not you, might be wrong. It's like, I don't know that. The person I'm speaking to knows I don't know that.
Oh, that it's a honor or something? Yeah.
They would get super upset if you didn't say their full name. Yeah.
Like full name as in like first and middle name?
I don't know, but I'm
last name and social security.
I feel like there's the chances of me getting murdered in the South are going up by the week. Because I'm like dishonoring, like it's big on honor culture out here, and I'm like dissing this population, and I'm not gonna stop.
I won't stop.
I'm not gonna stop. Things need to get taken down a peg, man. Southern culture needs to get taken down a peg. The two big things that I'm on the warpath about right now are Southern culture and Gen X, and the generation of Gen X.
You know what's funny is when you first moved to the South, or first moved to Tennessee anyway, you really loved the Southern culture, and you talked about it. You did. You talked about it.
I mean, and
now you're like in it.
I still love aspects about it, but I like how the people are. It is like inherent, like definitionally fake.
Yeah.
And
I think people are just nice. They're nice, and they don't want to. They would rather go with the flow than cause waves.
Yeah,
I
am the flow. I am I am the feces going through the pipe that's creating the flow.
But you're saying that is dishonest, and they're thinking they're doing something nice by not causing any sort of like
that. Yeah.
Disagreement or that sort of stuff.
Yeah, all Yankees say that. They compare us to the northern people. I'm not really comparing it to anyone else. Like, I mean, I don't think that's true.
I didn't realize Loaded Wrench, you were from the South, but...
I didn't realize there was even a person called Loaded Wrench. That's just some guy saying things. I get upset when you don't use my name. That's just some guy.
Some dude.
Some guy, 14. My guy. I'm not comparing him to anyone, my guy. No, but I'm not saying the stereotypical thing that you just said. I mean, that's like a difference of perspective.
I don't like when they say bless your heart and they're actually meaning it as an insult. I don't like that. Although I do that. You
do that?
To people on Twitter all the time. Because it pisses them off. Because I know it pisses me off, so I know how to piss them off.
No.
So I do.
There's never been a Loaded Wrench. Loaded Wrench isn't here. Loaded Wrench is gone. Loaded Wrench went away. Anyway, what's our last story?
All right, so we drove through Macon on the way, and I actually just saw a sign that we're like 80 miles from Macon. And this is a story that I actually...
I'm pretty sure it's Macon.
I don't know where we are, but we're making good time. Sad trombone noises. And this is a story that I covered in depth on my channel about Stephen McDaniel. Did you catch that? I know you don't watch my stuff, but did you happen to catch that case?
No.
I think you did. I think you caught I remember you in the chat during the police interrogation portion of that episode, and that's the guy that just...
that was epic.
Yes, that's that guy. He's from Macon. He turned into a robot at his police interrogation. If you haven't seen it, go back on my channel.
He's like, I know I killed her, but let me bust out these sick moves first. Like, oh. He's like...
Yeah, this guy was a crazy creeper dude and stalked his next door neighbor and ended up breaking into her apartment. Not breaking in, he actually stole the master key from the apartment complex, so went into her apartment and killed her in the middle of the night, dismembered her, threw her away in the trash. But
what was she wearing?
I would guess PJs.
No.
Thinking PJs.
She's wearing JDs. That's a deep cut.
So deep.
That's a deep cut. Yeah, not many people think that's a real inside joke.
I think only you and I know that joke. I don't think that was. I don't think you were streaking.
JDs. She was wearing JDs.
Were you even on air when that happened? Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Whenever we're hanging out, you're usually just live streaming, so who knows? Anyway, during his police interrogation...
That was deep. That was deep lore.
I wonder if anybody in the chat knows that. No. Nope, not at all.
But they don't matter. They're just some guy in a chat.
Like, you and I are just
my guy
out.
In the chat.
We're just hanging out on a road trip, and they're along for the ride
You
at this
mix
point.
both of them, it's my guy in the chat. Yeah. Like, don't say his name. It's just my guy in the chat. My guy.
Yes. My man. Yeah, he turned into a robot. I said that like 8 times now because I keep getting interrupted.
I know I'm facing life in prison, but now I have to bust it loose.
And he basically only says yes, no, and I don't know for an hour and a half. Just they'll be asking him like leading questions that require a more than one word answer, and he will only say yes, no, and I don't know. And not only that, he does not move unless he's told to move. So when he first starts, he's sitting with his hands on his lap like this. The cop says, put your hands on your desk, relax, or on the desk, and he just goes like this and puts both hands on the desk and then doesn't move again and is staring straight ahead. Yeah. And then the cop's like, look at me when I'm talking to you, son, because it's Macon and that's how they talk. And he like turns his head so slowly.
I thought those cops got played so bad in that one.
Yeah, they did.
Because he was just not chilling, but they were just getting so mad.
Well, they were getting mad, and they were trying to get him mad, so they started like saying that some really inappropriate stuff to try to get him to snap out of it, and he never did. He never broke contact. They like normally when you're in a police interrogation, the police will stare at you and wait for in silence to wait for you to break the silence because it's uncomfortable to sit in silence. Which I know you know that because you never shut up.
I was silent earlier. Yeah, I was. Yeah. It was right before you destroyed my car. Yeah, I was like reading it.
No, we were singing.
No.
The Take Me Out song.
Dude, I am not able to deal with how, like, that was not even close to the time I was talking about. Like, you get that you just like time raped our interaction. You just raped the time. Like,
I have no.
That was a violation, dude.
No, we were singing, and then your car broke down, right?
Yeah.
I was singing off beat. Speaking of timing, it was off beat.
No.
Anyway, so a lot of times if it's too silent for too long, the person being interrogated will crack and like just start talking. And Stephen McDaniel didn't do that. And actually, there's a point in that police interrogation where Stephen McDaniel is staring this red shirt. No, it was the fat cop, the one that almost broke the chair, that poor chair. he's staring at the fat cop, and the fat cop breaks, and he looks away, and he backs up and starts just talking. Like, Steven got them. Not you, that's Steven.
Steven, I thought you were dead. Cop.
Uh-oh. I told you, Loudoun County. They'll get you.
That's not a cop.
No, that's not a cop. If it is a cop, they got really nice cars these days. Much better than this piece of crap we're in right now.
Yo, watch this last for 10 more years.
You said that yesterday, and your car was on the side of the road, stopped with the hazards
Who was
on.
driving one? Hey, the fat cop has a name.
Anyway, I'm out of stories, so that's the show.
Are we gonna do am I gonna rap?
Yeah, let's do the outro.
I don't want to rap though. Okay, I haven't rapped this song in forever, but the usual. Why don't we just put it on?
Yeah, we can do that.
I really don't know if I want to do it.
Can you sing along at least? So, in case you guys are wondering, Steven does my outro music. Brain Fog, and also DeSoto is the name of the song for my Crimeland stuff. He is the artist. He's not a diva.
No, I'm just here to authentically express myself.
You know how you know somebody's not a diva is they tell you all the time how they're not divish they are.
Do I really have to do this?
You don't have to do anything. I told you don't have to do anything.
Let me try to do it. I'm not going to do the whole song. Boom, boom, boom. Dum, 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 boom, 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 boom. Right?
Yeah.
Is that it going? Dum. Am I singing that right?
Is that the right song?
Yeah, it's got that synth thing in there.
Okay.
All right. Won't you soap locos, show off your photos, throw out your Twinkies, throw up your ho-hos, tuck in them pinkies. Them shit's a no-no. The first Florida man was Fernando de Soto. Brought to my attention by the man with the mojo. My 8th subscriber, Yama Fagoso. Jump in them sinkies and dump them mimosos. The first Florida man was Hernando de Soto. Hernando de Soto. First Florida man was Hernando de Soto. First Florida man. The first Florida man was Hernando de what?
I'm thoroughly enjoying this.
All right. Looking for new thrills. Needed a new track of land. No, don't put the camera on me.
Okay,
No, I don't
fine.
want them to know.
I don't want them to see me.
No, I don't want. Don't look at me. Some guy in chat says whose song is this? Looking for new thrills, needing a new track of land. I used to dig The Simpsons, man. You don't need to do that. You're just be normal. Just hold it normal like you've been doing. Looking for new thrills, needed a new track of land. I used to dig The Simpsons, man. Bumping Biggie, Pac, Smash Mouth, and Simple Plan. No scrubs for the grease from my pimples, damn. From the soft streets of Southeast Michigan, hitting shuffle till I settled on a different jam. And when a dime won't do, a better nickel can. Let me tell you how I used to dig them Simpsons, man. A funny thing about time, you can get it back. A tight grip, but I rips the jacket. Slight lisp with a mix of traffic. You see about me like Mr. Glass. Always wish I was a whiz at graphics. Take me back to the past where the hits were massive. You could hear Gladys Knight and the Pips on Plastic. Misfit molasses. Delete my contacts just so I can stick to glasses. Feel that skipped out so I missed the classics. Aristotle of the bottle, Seneca of the sinful action, senator of the simple maxim. I swear for a skillful Saxon, I'm still relaxing. Who wanna take a dip in the mines? I was making off of the time walls, forgetting all my past when I sign off. Prime bride, prime rip, Agent Smith, crime boss, popping red pills till my mind's off.
Mine's off.
All right,
That's the show.
That's it.
That's it. That's the tweet.
That's it.
Thank you very much for coming. This has been an episode of Crimeland on the road.
I might stream a little bit later. Now I feel like streaming.
Now Steven feels like streaming, so head over to...
No, we're not going to do it now. So what we're going to do is
head over to Ignoramus Streams.
Videos.
And videos. Click the subscribe button.
Yeah, I don't care if you subscribe to Ignoramus streams, man.
Click the...
Especially some guy in the chat.
click the bell. Then you'll know if we go live again.
Oh, you're doing the whole YouTuber
I'm
thing?
trying to, but you keep interrupting me. I'm doing it on your behalf since I have such a larger audience than you.
You're so true. So true.
Yeah, so he's got 2 channels, Ignoramus Streams, Ignoramus Videos. Head over there. He's very talented. He's making moves in the game, as we could see from this weekend.
Like
so
an artist.
He's going to be big. It's going to happen very soon. So get in there while the getting's good. Hit the bell. Hit the like. Wash to subscribe. What was
Wash?
that? Was the from the shirt thing? Subscribe to wash. Subscribe to wash.
Well, no. Wait. It was you saying the thing I said about your shirt, about the shirt?
Yes.
No, it was like 60% polyester, 40% cotton, 100% Katie said.
100.
that's what it should have been.
All right, bye guys. We'll see you next week. I don't know what I have coming up next week.
Top right.
But be there 4:30 Sundays, every Sunday 4:30. Bye guys.